You know the feeling. The couch winning over the gym. The task that would take 2 hours, pushed to tomorrow for the 8th day in a row. It is 10 in the morning. The job is simple, and somehow you do everything except it. You clean, you snack, you scroll, and a small voice says the same thing it always says. What is wrong with me? Why am I so lazy? This video is about that voice, and about why it has the story completely backwards. Because you are not broken. You are expensive to run. And to see what that means, we have to look inside the most costly machine you own. So let us start with your brain. In 1999, 2 researchers named Clarke and Sokoloff added up what it actually costs to keep a human brain running. The number is strange. Your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but at rest, it burns around 20% of your oxygen. That is roughly 20 watts of power, a dim light bulb glowing inside your skull, all day, every day, whether you use it or not. And it gets more expensive the closer you look. In 2011, a neuroscientist named Susanna Herculano-Hausel counted the cost per neuron across 6 different species. She found that the human brain, with its roughly 100 billion neurons, burns around 500 to 600 calories a day just to exist. Not to think hard, not to solve anything, just to stay on. So before you make a single decision, your body is already paying a heavy bill. Which means, for most of history, wasting energy was dangerous, because for your ancestors, calories were not sitting in a fridge. Every calorie had to be chased, dug up, or hunted down. Burn too much for no reason, and you might not have enough left when it truly mattered. So, evolution built a simple rule into every animal, including us. Never spend effort you do not have to spend. Rest whenever you safely can. But here's the part that surprises people. Even the most active humans alive still live by that rule. In 2012, an anthropologist named Herman Poncer measured the Hadza, hunter-gatherers in Tanzania who walk for their food every day. He tracked 30 adults over 11 days. The men walked more than 11 kilometers a day. 11. And yet, when he measured their total daily energy, something strange showed up. After adjusting for body size, they burned about the same number of calories as office workers in America. But careful here, this does not mean moving is pointless. Poncer is clear that exercise is still deeply good for your health, but it tells us something about the body's deepest instinct. The body does not chase more effort. It works to hold a budget, spend more here, and it quietly saves somewhere else. Your machine was tuned over millions of years to protect its energy, not to throw it away. So that is the ancient rule, and you can still feel it firing even now. In 2018, a researcher named Boris Cheval put people in front of a screen with a cap reading their brain activity. They had to move a little figure toward pictures of exercise or toward pictures of resting. People were faster to move toward rest and slower to move away from it. Avoiding the lazy option took real, measurable extra work in the brain. Something inside us still pulls, quietly, toward the couch. But here is where it gets modern. Your ancestors spent energy with their legs. You spend it with your mind. And the brain treats mental effort exactly like physical effort, as a cost to avoid. And you can watch that same pull move from the legs to the mind. In 2010, a psychologist named Wouter Kuhl gave people a simple choice, 500 times. 2 decks of cards. One made you switch tasks constantly, which is mentally tiring. The other let you coast. Nobody was lifting anything, nobody was sweating, and still, people picked the easy deck about 68% of the time. Even people who swore they never noticed a difference still drifted toward the lazy one. Your brain avoids thinking hard the same way it avoids running uphill. And it does not just avoid effort, it puts a price tag on it. In 2013, a researcher named Andrew Westbrook offered people money to do harder and harder memory tasks. He found something almost funny. A $2 reward for a hard task was worth only about 98 cents in their minds. The effort cut the value nearly in half, so the boring report is not just boring. Your brain marks it down, like damaged goods on a shelf. So the abstract task is expensive. But there is a second problem, and it is about time. Because the reward for hard work is usually far away, and your brain hates waiting. In 2004, a scientist named Samuel McClure scanned people choosing between money now and more money later. He saw 2 systems light up. When the reward was available today, a fast, emotional part of the brain fired hard. The choice for later leaned on slower, more calculating regions. The 2 competed. And the thing right in front of you, the snack, the phone, the easy win, grabs attention before the patient plan can even finish speaking. Which means the task with a payoff in 2 weeks is fighting with one hand tied. The scroll pays you now, the spreadsheet pays you never, as far as your ancient wiring can tell. And notice how neatly all of these lock together. The old rule said save energy. The modern task costs energy and pays late. So every part of the machine points the same way. toward the thing that is cheap now and against the thing that is worth more later. It is not one weak spot. It is the whole design agreeing at once. So we have a brain that guards energy, avoids mental effort, marks it down, and grabs the nearest reward. But there is one more piece, and it is the most human one of all, because putting the task off does something instantly. It feels good. In 2013, two researchers named Fuxia Sirois and Timothy Peichel showed that procrastination is often not about time management at all. It is about mood. We delay the tasks that feel bad, the boring ones, the confusing ones, the ones with no clear shape, and avoiding them brings a small, real hit of relief, right now. So the delay is not simple laziness, it is a quick patch for a bad feeling. And this is where we have to stop, before this turns into a permission slip, because none of this is rare. In 2007, a researcher named Piers Steele gathered hundreds of studies into one giant review, built on nearly 700 separate findings. His numbers are staggering. Between 80 and 95% of students procrastinate. Around 3/4 call themselves procrastinators. This is not a personal defect. It is one of the most normal human patterns there is. But normal does not mean free. In 1997, two psychologists named Diane Tice and Roy Baumeister followed 44 students across a whole semester. Early on, the procrastinators looked like they had won. Less stress, fewer sick days. They were saving energy, feeling relief, coasting. But by the end, it flipped completely. They were more stressed, more often sick, and got lower grades on every assignment. The relief was real. The bill was just mailed to a later address. Cheaper today, and more costly by the end. The savings were never savings at all. They were a loan. Because that is the trick your brain is playing. Every time you put the hard thing off, you hand the cost to one specific person. Not a stranger, you, tomorrow. And tomorrow you is the easiest person in the world to steal from because he is not in the room to argue. So here is what is really happening when you feel lazy. You are not weak. You are running ancient software. A body built to guard every calorie. A brain that treats thinking like heavy lifting. A system that grabs what is near and fears what is far. For a hunter on an empty plain, all of that was genius. It kept your ancestors alive long enough to become you. But you do not live on an empty plain. You live in a world of infinite easy calories and no forced effort, where the only lions left are deadlines, and the hardest thing you have to do is start. Your instinct to save energy has not gone wrong. It is just stranded. Running a survival rule in a world that no longer needs it. So the next time that voice calls you lazy, remember what it is actually looking at. Not a broken person, a careful, ancient machine, doing exactly what it was built to do, protecting you from a famine that is never going to come. You do not need to hate it, you just need to know it is there, whispering the same old rule it has always whispered. Save energy, wait, rest, and every now and then, gently, knowing exactly why the pull feels so strong, choose to do the expensive thing anyway.